Today on Misunderstood with Rachel Uchitel. So last time I saw you, was I single?
Last time I saw you, you were sworn off men. You were like bitter. You were never dating again.
I can't get into details of what happened during the wedding, but there was a drama that should have had the cameras rolling.
All right, I'll stop grilling you about all your friends that I love all the tea on.
Well, wait. Is David Yontef still even podcasting?
Somebody said, who would you like to reconcile with?
You could have picked 9 people that he's not talking to.
Well, they did. They went through the list. Margaret Josephs, Kim D,
Kelly Dodd,
Heather
McDonald.
Dr. Now from that show is my favorite because he'll come in and tell them how fat they are.
He's just kind of like,
she's fat. Look at her. She'll die. You want her to die? He was 73 when he died, and he had joined a gay leather fraternity where he would go every weekend, dress up in leather, and get beat. And then I think he was like electrocuting his balls.
So yeah, last time we saw each other, I just heard you and George talking. We didn't film at all in 2025.
I can't even believe that, Rachel. How is that possible? Well, I actually know it's possible because my 2025 was such a shit show. I'm trying to think of prior to 2025, a year where I had so many highs and so many lows in one year. Because usually you just have a bad year the whole year.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Wait, so last time I saw you, was I single?
This is what I was saying to you, starting to say. Last time I saw you, you were sworn off men.
Yeah.
You were like, I think you hated men. You were like bitter. You were never dating again. There were no good men in Florida. It was awful. I don't know. I kind of thought you were going to join this lesbian train. And I was
really? I was going to become a late in life lesbian?
Yes. I sort of saw you Kyle Richards. Because
I'm too scared of vagina. I'm not like that.
Tell me everything. How did you meet Dan? What?
Yeah. Okay. So I met him on Bumble like 4.5 years ago. And the funny thing is I was living in the Hamptons for the summer. And people that have listened to my show probably know this already, so I'm boring them, but I'll say it very quickly for you. He was there. He lives in Florida, but he was in the Hamptons doing Michael Rubin's White Party, which is a very famous party, and all the celebrities go to it. And they had hired him to essentially do all the security for it. And so he called me. I spoke to him. We had this nice conversation. I hung up the phone, and I was like, I mean, he's so nice, but I don't date the security guard. I date the guy who runs the party. So I just didn't. I was like, whatever. And then a couple of years later, I moved to Florida. He keeps asking me out, whatever. Long story short, I finally go out with him. And I realized he was very alpha. I realized he was not a security guard. He owns 4 massive security companies that do, weapons detection and all the major stuff for like Olympics, Super Bowl, Formula One, Google, Oracle, whatever. And all over the world too. So since he's been with me, he started another 2 companies, which by the way, one of the guys that is a CEO of one of his companies and runs another one is somebody I had on my show. And that's how we met him. And so he got into the canine for explosive detection, weapons detection. He got into that business. So he has one business that trains the handlers and the dogs. And he has another business that deploys them to all the events or schools or, wherever, that kind of thing. So anyway, so here we are. I'm Mrs. Donovan now. Nice to meet you.
I'm like, she's such a proper Irish woman now. I love it. Like, okay, excuse me. You could tell you're now like a Donovan Irish. He's such a handsome Irish guy, and he's tall, right? He looks like
he's 6'4". His daughter is 6'4". His son is 6'6", and his daughter just got married to someone who is, his son is 6'7", and the son-in-law is 6'6". So I look like a little mini mouse compared to all of them.
How's blended family life going?
Oh, it's
That's
so
always-
good. Like, I love
Really?
his kids. His daughter just got married like 3 months before we got married, and then she had a baby the month before we got married. So I am now a step grandmother, and my name I named myself because I didn't want to be Granny. My name is Jaja.
Jaja. All right. I
Yeah.
like Jaja.
Because I'm the
Okay.
fancy grandmother.
How's your daughter taking it? Like, because I'm assuming your daughter, you guys are all living together, right? The three of you?
Yes, he lives with me and my daughter and my 3 dogs. Yeah, and his kids are older, so they're not here. They're in their 20s. But she at first, she felt like it was her and I, and she's 13, and it's a tough age, anyways. And he's the greatest kind of family man. So it took a while for her to like be all on board, and he had to be like, "Love you, Wyatt," and then she'd be like, "Uh-huh." And now, like, we go. Listen, we're at her volleyball tournaments every weekend. We're at practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 9 o'clock at night. He's there for every practice. He's coaching her. He's, every night. Last night they cooked dinner together. Like, they're two peas in a pod. And the greatest joy of his life is being a stepfather. He's super cool as a stepfather, like having a teenager again. So he's all in, which is awesome.
Wow. Okay, this is amazing. How are your exes taking? Is your ex-husband taking this well, or is he?
They're good friends, so that's
really
made it easier. Yep.
Wow, this is very Brady Bunch.
I know it is Brady Bunch because he just had a baby like a year ago, and so whatever. And I haven't gotten along with them for a very long time. So, anyways, it's made it all very nice, and
that's great.
Now hopefully things will be a little more boring because in the course of a year, I got engaged. I, got this blended family that we had to go to his daughter's wedding. She had a baby. We did a whole home renovation. My pipe burst in my house, and we had to basically, do like $700,000. Like, a lot of it was insurance money, but of totally renovating the house, the outside, because we decided to have a wedding here. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And up until the day before the wedding, we flew in Tim Story, who's a very famous like life coach and comeback coach, who is a very close person to me. He was walking me down the aisle, and the officiant, and he calls, he calls and says, "I can't make it to the rehearsal. I'm projectile vomiting. I don't know if I can make it at all." And so we're just like, who's going to walk me down the aisle? Who's going to be the officiant at the wedding? Like, all these crazy things went on. But anyway, I hope you saw the pictures. They look great.
Yeah.
People magazine did cover it exclusively, which was really nice. And we ended up, our first dance was, the time of our lives.
Yes, you reenacted Dirty Dancing. That was so impressive.
Yep. And
Dan's got good balance, baby.
You were like nailed it. I got up there. So I was like, 8 feet in the air by the time I was up over his head. And it was scary, but it was so fun. It was like such a moment.
I can't believe that wedding was at your house. I almost did that. And then when you start, it's such a pain. Like,
oh my God. I was like, oh, well, it'll save money because we'll decorate the house all night. No, we could have had a wedding, in a castle in Europe and brought everyone with us, and it would have been less expensive. So anyway, whatever, but it was beautiful. Okay. Enough about me.
Since really? I feel like there's so many more things I want to ask you. Okay, go on.
Okay, go ahead.
Who else was I'm obsessed with Heather McDonald. I love Juicy Scoop. Who else was there? Any other influencers that we love at the wedding? Because it was 200 people, or how many?
It was 140, let's say.
Okay.
120.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay. A couple people had to cancel at the last minute. Dr. Drew canceled at the last minute. He was going to come. Rudy Giuliani canceled at the last minute, but he did send me a video saying the only reason and the only person that would stop him from making it to my wedding was the president of the United States. And President Trump had requested him at his New Year's Eve party, so he had to go. So it was very cute. But let's see. So I had Heather McDonald there. I had Jill Zarin.
Oh, yeah.
That was there. I had Bam Margera, who was on Jackass.
Okay, that's who I saw. Yes.
Him and his wife, who I'm very close with and I love. And it's my birthday in 2 weeks. They're actually going to come to my birthday party as well. So I become close friends with them. I mean, we had so many random people. So I don't know if you saw the news. I don't know how much of New York news you saw, but the fire commissioner stepped down and had been, now a new person had come in, and it was a lesbian who had never been a fireman, and it was all this news. Well,
Right.
the fire commissioner that had stepped down was actually at our wedding. A lot of these people I became friends with because I interviewed them for the show. So he came. So that was fun to have him there. A couple famous journalists like Dylan Radigan, who was on CNBC, and people you may or may not know. But anyways.
How is Jill Zarin's facelift in real life?
Well, I mean, I've seen her a couple of times. She looks great. She looks fantastic to me.
Looks so good.
And Heather, I don't know if she had a facelift or not, but looks amazing.
Heather, no, I was going to say the same thing. Heather, I need to call Heather and find out what she's doing, because Heather is aging in reverse. She looks amazing. Her body, something I feel like she did. I don't know if Heather discloses her tweaks, but she looks so good these days. She looks so good. Jill Zarin's facelift is one of the best. And of course, Kris Jenner's. Like, I need that code word.
Well, I don't think Kris Jenner's looks so good in real life. That's what I've heard.
I did see that one red carpet shot where people were saying, okay, yeah, like a lot of it, yes, the facelift looks good because she's 71 or something, 72. But overall, like, it's not like it was this miracle. Yeah, right. I've heard that too.
Well, you know who I have on my show in 2 weeks is Trish McEvoy. And do you know she's like in her 70s and she literally looks like she's 40? Have you ever looked her up? I didn't even know what she looked like.
Is she the makeup? Is she makeup?
Yeah, Trish McEvoy, the iconic, it's like Bobby Brown, Trish McEvoy, whatever. This woman looks like she's our age, in between my age and your age. I think you're younger than me, obviously. And how good does she look for someone in her 70s?
What? She's in her 70s?
Yes. So I can't wait to ask her.
Are you freaking kidding?
Oh, you know who else I had at the wedding? Anna Quinqueros, whatever, from Housewives of Miami.
Oh, Anna Quincoces.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. I don't have the accent.
What if I told you that the idea that you only get parasites when you travel to some exotic country is flat wrong? Millions of Americans carry parasites right now, often without symptoms. For example, it's estimated that millions in the United States have been exposed to Toxocara, a parasitic worm, yet most never even know it. Parasites do not need a plane ticket. They can enter through tap water, sushi, undercooked foods, or contaminated produce. Some strains live in all stages: eggs, larvae, adults, hidden in your gut, releasing toxins that sabotage your energy and digestion. That's why I'm excited about Parify, Kim Rogers' 30-day full-spectrum parasite cleanse. The kit works by clearing parasites, worms, candida, and heavy metals, targeting parasites in all life stages, supporting gut health, detox pathways, and toxin removal. It's taken orally, daily for 30 days with precise dosing. I'm actually doing it myself right now. I started with the lymph cleanse, then I'm doing the Parify. Want to dive deep? I did a full interview with Kim Rogers, the worm queen herself, where we expose all the myths, understand the facts, and show how to protect your body. Listen to that episode if you haven't already. Meanwhile, go to rogershood.com and use the code Rachel to get 10% off of your order. That's RACHEL for 10% off. Give it a try. Maybe your body's missing link is hiding inside. Let's do this together. Again, it's rogershood.com, ROGERSHOOD.com, and use the code Rachel for 10% off.
She was there. There was a little rivalry between Heather, Anna, Kelly. Rick Leventhal was there, obviously Kelly's husband.
Kelly Dodd was there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Kelly Dodd.
What's going on with her daughter? Is there any hope?
Yes, Kelly loves her daughter, and I think she definitely is just waiting for her daughter to start talking to her again. I mean, I don't want to get involved in all that, but Kelly, listen, I know
I'm putting you on the spot.
I know that people think a lot about Kelly. Sometimes she could be a lot. She says what she thinks, but I can't get into details of what happened during the wedding, but there was a drama that we should have had the cameras rolling, and a whole apology had to happen, and it was a whole thing. But that's just par for the course with Kelly. And she, sometimes puts her foot in her mouth, but Thank God I'm not on her bad side. Listen, I like her. I don't talk to her about politics. I don't talk bad about people with her. We just have a fun friendship, and I like her and I enjoy her. And by the way, one of the most, one of the people that struck my husband the most, he came up to me later and was like, Rick Leventhal has told me so many times how honored he is to be here and how appreciative. And because we set up a whole week, like 3 days for people. We had our boat captain take everybody out on the boat ride. We had a welcome dinner at the Breakers. And so a lot of people got to know each other ahead of time. So it was like more of a fun, intimate wedding. Anyway, it was great. It was
all right.
great.
I'll stop grilling you about all your friends that I love all the tea on.
Well, wait, speaking of friends or ex-friends, are you still, I don't know if maybe he's blocked me from everything, but is David Yontef still even podcasting?
We're still podcasting. We're still.
Are you guys? Oh, you guys are doing it together?
Still, we only do it like twice. We do 2 shows, 2, sometimes 3 shows a week. And then he has his show and I have mine. Yeah. I wonder
2 to 3 times a week.
We usually record 2 episodes. We've been doing that for 4 years now. We do a pod trade every week.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes, like 2 episodes. Yeah. He's still around. He's still kicking.
Okay, so he must have blocked me from everything because I didn't even know he was in business. I never see one post about him.
I feel like he recently said something about reconciling. You know what? We did a virtual live podcast and somebody said, who would you like to reconcile with between, I think, Margaret
you could have
Josephs.
picked 9 people that he's not talking to, but okay.
Well, they did. They went through the list. Margaret Josephs, you, oh my God, who else? Okay, Kim D. Anyway, they listed
Kelly Dodd,
Heather
McDonald,
and he said you. So
out
then
of all of them?
He said he'd most likely like to reconcile with you. So I said,
I'm more honored the fact that I was in a list of people that are actually famous people.
Yes, yeah. And Anna Kinkoses, he and Anna, they were co-hosting a podcast and then they had a falling out.
Yeah. So everyone basically that was at my wedding.
I don't know how. I always say to David, and actually it's so bad. This year has been so crazy. I've been the worst co-host. So I keep thinking
why do you think you've been a bad co-host?
Well, we do these virtual live podcasts probably like 3 times a year. I don't even, he promotes like all the ticket sales. I don't even promote. I'm too busy to promote. I have so many.
How many people show up for that?
Anywhere from like 50 to 70.
No way. And they're all in your like Zoom. Is that how it happens?
Yeah. You should do one.
And they ask you questions about what?
We withhold like a lot of the personal stuff, right? Like where his relationship stands with you or with Anna or wherever. We kind of like save all that. And, he and Kelly had some beef too, like maybe in the fall. I'm trying to think of what happened. I don't know. They did anyhow. Rick and Kelly, they said something about David on their podcast. David said something about blah, blah, blah. Okay. So anyhow, we save all that. So people come on for $30. Everybody gets to ask one question. They can ask anything as messy as they want. And we have to answer.
Do they get the mic or they have to type it in the chat?
No, they get the mic. So we usually go based on every time we do something different, alphabetical by first name, alphabetical by last name, something like that. Some people don't want to ask a question. They just want to hear the tea. And then everybody else wants to hear either tea or they want like David's insight on Bravo stuff, or they'll ask me about Sister Wives, or they'll ask about personal things. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Fun. I love it. Mm-hmm. So you have not had a falling out with him yet, ever?
I guess I'm the only one. I'm on this island and I don't know what to say to people. I know. I don't know what it is. We get along fine every week. But I think it's because I say this to David too, so I'm not saying anything I wouldn't say to his face. But I've literally probably for the last year and a half, and I think this being a mom, and especially I have a 4-year-old and now pregnant, I don't call him at all. So I think we don't speak for.
Okay, so you're not like really friends, like. Because the problem was I used to call him every morning on my drive back after I dropped off my daughter. It would be 8:15 on the dot because she'd get out of the car. And then I'd hit send on my phone and I'd call him and I'd be like, what are you doing? And we'd just like talk about nothing. And then he'd be like, I'm busy. Stop bothering me. That's how our day would go. And I'd be like, how are you busy? It's only 8:15 in the morning. So anyways, all right, let's move on from David. Now you have had a very big year.
I look like crap. I need the
No,
facelift.
first of all, it's so
tired.
amazing because your face is, well, you're pregnant. How are you 8 months pregnant?
8 months, girl. 33 weeks,
What?
baby.
Wow. But you look great. But your face is filled out a little bit. So it looks like you got a facelift because you're all nice and taut and your lips look like you got filler. You look fucking sick. Like you should
Really?
be. Yeah, you couldn't, if you didn't show me your belly, I would be like, oh my God, she looks like she's 15.
I'm swollen and puffy. Okay, well that's good. Well, maybe it is all the hormones. Okay, that's good. Okay, my year went like this. So last January, I started my year. My favorite gunkle died of a massive heart attack at the Met in New York.
I remember.
My brother and I are his executors, and when I tell you, there has been, for the love of God, will you and Dan please do a trust?
We have, yeah.
Get a lawyer to be your executor and like make it so clear about who's getting what. It's been a nightmare beyond a nightmare.
Why? Because all these people came out of the woodwork and want something?
Well, he has no money. Yeah. So he promised all these people money, told them that. They're calling us. I'm like, doll, he doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together. But, you know, he looked like he lived this like lavish lifestyle. And so, you know, and like basically from the moment the person dies, you're on the hook. Like with the hospital, they're like, well, you can't leave his body here. We're really sorry.
Right.
We're sending you condolences. Oh, by the way, what do you want to do with this body? It needs to be moved out of here in like 72 hours. You're like, okay. So then I'm paying for all these things. It was so crazy. And he is a character who I need to do a podcast series on because he wanted to come on the podcast. He was 73 when he died and he had joined a gay leather fraternity and he was living his best life in a gay leather New Jersey fraternity where he would go every weekend, dress up in leather and get beat. And
what?
Then, yeah. Oh,
do you think this has something to do with why he had a heart attack?
Yes, 100%. I think he was living an extreme life at 73.
Wow, I love that. Wait, did he only come out as being gay late in life?
Oh, no, gay the whole time. He was married to my biological uncle for 40 years.
Oh, got it.
And my bio uncle passed away 7 years ago. And then it was like he went completely off the rails. Like my uncle kept him on track, joined a gay leather fraternity, was going out every weekend, dressing up in leather, getting beat, had the leather name Forge.
What do you mean getting beat? How do you know he was getting beat?
He would call me and tell me the stories. They like tie each other up and whip each other for hot sex. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, doesn't this, and then I think he was like electrocuting his balls. I'm like, doesn't this hurt? I mean, what are you doing at 73? He was living his best life.
But he was at the Met, as in the museum?
The Metropolitan Opera. He died in the parking lot of the Metropolitan Opera.
Before or after the opera?
After, which I do feel like what's so eerie is life is sometimes really full circle. The very first date he and my uncle went on, and then they were together for like 40 years, was at the Met, was at the opera. And he died. I know. And then he died there. He was living.
Himself?
What's that?
Was he by himself?
No, he was with his like new boyfriend.
Okay, so he got to see an opera and he got to go out on top of the world.
He really didn't know. And
on a high note, no pun intended. I mean, this is great. Like
the emergency doctor told me, he's like, I'm really sorry and I feel so terrible for you, but he's like, this is the best way to die. He's like, he was probably dead in 5 minutes and there was no resuscitating unless an ambulance was like right there, maybe.
Oh my God. Okay, well, God rest his soul. I'm so sorry. And then you had been trying to get pregnant for ages, right?
It's been, okay, so my son is 4, and I had him at 39. So from essentially 40 to now I'm 43. It's been 3 years. Yeah, I was trying to get pregnant. And in that time frame, 3 pregnancies, 3 miscarriages, including my uncle died. I found out I was pregnant. A couple weeks later, I miscarried. Then one of my favorite cousins committed suicide. I'm telling you, it was like a wild, wild year.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
It was, and I never knew anyone personally who took their own lives. You know, I knew somebody through somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no one like close.
Were they somebody who you felt like had a lot of issues?
No, that was the scariest part. I had to go to my therapist to try to understand it because she was a woman that was so put together. hair always done, makeup always done, high
Married?
finance job, married,
Kids?
2 grown daughters. Yep. The daughters were like 19 and 21.
And we're sure it was suicide. It wasn't an accidental.
No, she left a note. Yeah. It was really terrible.
Oh God.
I know. It's been really, really hard. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To hear that.
then I had a miscarriage. Then I
Wait,
always
now every time you were getting pregnant these last times, was it natural or you were doing IVF?
No, all natural, but I had chromosome issues. So this last baby was Down syndrome and Turner syndrome and miscarried at 9 weeks. Yes. So my IVF doctor was like, look, whatever you believe in, you want to thank the lucky stars. The Down syndrome you could have dealt with, but Turner syndrome, like most children do not live to teenage. It's so
Can I ask
debilitating.
what your belief is? Like if you had found out that whole thing, what would you have done anyway?
No, I don't know. I kept praying. I was like, don't, I don't want to make
You didn't want that choice. All right. Well, it was made for you. Okay.
Every pregnancy I've ever had, I've always said to God, don't make me I don't want to decide. Don't put me in that position. You know, if this baby is healthy and meant to be, let it be. And if it's not, then it's not. So, and I've had like everything. Molar pregnancy, which is when 2 sperm fertilize 1 egg, baby can't live. I've had, let's see what else. Okay. So Turner syndrome, Down syndrome.
Your body
trisomy 9. I had a trisomy 9 miscarriage, which is the 9th chromosome is missing. Also very hard for a baby to live. Wait, say it again.
Which would have meant what? Like it doesn't develop.
Oh, I think like severe deformities. You know what I mean?
Got it. Okay.
Heart doesn't develop right.
So this time it's taken, but you did this IVF, correct?
I did egg donor. It's not my egg because basically I'm a person where like I've gone to, I don't know, 2 or 3 different experts or whatever. And they're like, look, it's just your age. You know, you old girl, you should have been doing IVF back when you were 30. And these eggs, and you could spend all the money you want on IVF. But once you hit 42, IVF is very hard for it to work. You only have about a 20% chance of it actually working.
Do you pick the egg? Do you pick the genetics or whatever, the characteristics of this person? Did you get to meet the person?
You don't meet them. You don't know their name. You don't know where they live. They can only be a donor, I believe, 3 times in their lifetime. And we bought 8 eggs. Loved the woman. Most of the women that donate their eggs either work in fertility, so they've seen women struggle, or they have like sisters that have worked. They're usually adjacent to the fertility world. Right. Or I think my girl was really honest and she wanted to pay her way through college.
Got it.
You know, you make like $15,000.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Per like retrieval.
Okay.
So she did it and she already had 2 of her own kids. So she was like, I have 2 of my own babies. I really want to do this. I really want to pay off my college loans. I'm like, I appreciate the honesty. Like, okay.
So you got 8 and 1 took, or you have the others frozen right now?
No. Do you know only 1 made it to blast and that one took? None of the others. No, I have 0 storage fees because none of the others made it.
Okay. And so
fine with me.
So what does this mean? This means that, did you do all the testing and find out everything that was going on and it's all good and we're good to go?
Good to go. So she had to have genetic testing anyway, and then my husband. And so they could not be crossover carriers of anything, which they weren't. And then we actually didn't do PGT testing because they usually say like with a donor under the age of 30, their chances that they're going to have chromosomal issues are much smaller than, you know, myself, like if obviously doing it on my own. So we did like NIPT test at 11 weeks. All was good there. I went in for the high risk sonogram, anatomy scan. Everything was good. I went for a fetal echocardiogram. Baby's heart was awesome. So here we are. Baby's almost 4 pounds.
When's the due date?
6 weeks to go. 6 weeks. Scheduled C-section February 26th.
So excited. Oh my God. Well,
I'm so excited.
I cannot wait. Do we know what it is?
No, we're going to be surprised.
Oh my God. One of the last really big surprises of a lifetime. That is exciting.
Well, I went to my OBGYN this week and I told him, I'm like, I'm having a little baby shower, 1st of February. And I'm like, I kind of want to know. And he's like, absolutely not. He's like, you've come this far. You will have to like drag this out of me. I'm not telling you.
But it is kind of fun to have a baby reveal. I always watch those on Instagram and I think they're really fun.
Me too. Like boy or girl. I know. I'm going to do a big baby reveal.
Yeah. All right. Well, it'll be a baby reveal when it actually comes out of your body. So you should have the doctor have like, different colored confetti, and then, behind the blanket, they could just throw the color of the confetti on you.
Oh, maybe I'll tell him to do that. Yeah, I think he'll love that. He keeps telling me I'm going to put a diaper on the child, so you have to wait even longer. I'm like, don't you dare. I'm like, you better tell me immediately. My OB is really fun. He's like super chill. Very California.
I'm so excited for you, and I wish you the best of luck with
you. I'm loving it. I'm so excited.
All right. So let's get to, we've done crossover shows a bunch. People love our chemistry. I think we always talk about like pop culture and stuff. I want to do a little bit I want to hear what you're covering and all that, because I feel like you're so deep into Sister Wives and Sisters of Sisters of Sisters of Wives and all these shows. So I want to hear like what your niche is now. But like, I kind of want to hear, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people on your show know, but I want to hear a little bit about how you got into this, because I know you have a background in broadcasting or radio or whatever. And I want people to like kind of hear how you got into this from, what did you want to be when you were little? I've never known this about you.
Oh, well, I've always wanted to be a talk show host. So I feel like I'm doing it in my own version. Mm-hmm. The podcast, TSFS, is still very TLC heavy. I am so drawn to those shows. Like you were saying, Sister Wives. Sister Wives is still my number one, probably most downloaded episodes, which for people who haven't watched it, but maybe heard about it, is essentially a family where Cody Brown was the patriarch and he had 4 wives. They moved around from Las Vegas to Utah because polygamy is still illegal in this country, but nobody really gets prosecuted for it. But you can only marry one person at a time, right?
Right.
Anyhow, probably about 3 years ago now, 3 of his wives all left him. Mm-hmm. They were done, and he declared his love for one wife, Robin. And so these past 3 seasons, 18, 19, 20, have really been the dissolving of this family that has been on reality television since 2010. Obsessed with the show. It's so bizarre. Right. Then from that, TLC has launched a show called Seeking Sister Wife, which is about guys who want to be Cody Brown and are searching for multiple wives.
God.
Epic. Then Welcome to Plathville is another one that's big. These are very niche shows, but it's just, I don't know, it's gotten my podcast like a cult following. So the Welcome to Plathville one is about a family in Cairo, Georgia, uber religious. All their kids are all early, like teens, 20s. And in 2018, 2019, they never gave the kids didn't even know cell phones existed. They had no idea who Tom Brady was. They never drank a Coca-Cola. And so TLC films them for the first time. And this family has gone bananas. It's like Irish. I mean, it's like an Amish Rumspringer. The mom got arrested for a DUI. The parents got divorced. One of the oldest sons got divorced. His wife has come out and said that he was verbally abusive towards her.
This is all on TLC? Is this the same network that did Mama June and
yes,
Hoedown? What are they called? What's Mama June's kid's name?
Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo. I mean, I feel like it's this kind of, not to be rude, trailer trash type of stuff where they turn these people into stars and then all of a sudden they like crash and burn.
There's some of that. There's the 1,000-Pound Sisters, My 600-Pound Life.
Who, by the way, I love. I watched a lot of that. I was obsessed. I never understood those people. Like, did you see the one where a crane had to like knock down part of the house so they could get the girl out so she could go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be sitting there with my tub of ice cream watching it, being like, holy shit, this sucks. Or like they had lifted up one lady's fat roll and there was like a leftover hamburger or something in there and it had gotten all messed up. I mean, does that shit really happen? I mean, come on.
Yes. 100%. Yes. And Dr. Now from that show is my favorite because he'll come in and tell them how fat they are and they gain weight. And he has like an accent. I don't know if he's Armenian, but or maybe
Indian
from Iran
or something. Yeah. He's very funny because he has no and he doesn't make any facial expressions. So he's not funny. You know what I mean? And
He's very dry.
Right, dry. And he's not even that empathetic. He's just kind of like, you're too fat. You need to lose another 145 pounds.
Or you will die.
And maybe, or you will die. And then maybe I will work on taking your stomach out, and then we have to deal with all the fat hanging from you, and that's not my problem. Like,
it's so good. And then the 600-pound life person comes in, and of course they're with their sister or their spouse that's the enabler that goes and gets them all the food. And he will, say to them, why are you buying her pizza? And well, she really wanted it. And I don't care. She's fat. Look at her. She'll die. You want her to die? And then the 600-pound life person will start crying and saying, I only drank water. And he's like, water? There's no way. When has water ever caused somebody to gain weight? You're fat. Right. You're
These
fat.
shows are great. So he's
so good.
It's so good. So you guys never cover anything. So David's covering Bravo, you're covering TLC, but has David realized that Bravo's like kind of over? I mean, I feel like they had their peak and now they've kind of gotten into trouble and now they can't buy anything good. I mean, have you watched this new members only Palm Beach show on Netflix?
No, is it good? I have so many shows. I just started the Shaw's reboot. I'm watching Suddenly Amish, which is on TLC, which is basically the Amish community for the first time is trying to recruit like normal people like us to come into the Amish community.
I would do that in 2 seconds. I think that they should do franchise shows of that. They should do, what is it called? Becoming Amish?
Suddenly Amish.
Okay. How about, Suddenly Amish, Suddenly Scientologist.
I want to go work in the Sea Org. Okay, you're right. And I want an audit. I want a free audit.
I want to go in there and see if they could change me. Like, how funny would that show be if me and you went in there and we're both like, they're not going to be able to change me. And clearly I wouldn't be able to be changed, but you want an audit. So all of a sudden you'd come out and you'd be like, oh, I believe in this. I'm going to move here. And I'm going to leave my husband and my 2 children and I'm going to come work for the Sea Org. That's going to happen to you.
I would go to the Hollywood Scientology one, the famous one, and I would tell them this. I would donate $100,000. If they can make me famous like Tom Cruise, I would give them $100,000 because that's their whole thing. They audit you and they charge you like $100,000 for every level. Right. It's like, no, you make me, even Leah Remini famous. You make me Leah famous. I will be part of Sea Org and I will give you $100,000. But they always
very Harvey Weinstein. Isn't that kind of just another version of that? I will sleep with you if you make me very famous.
Similar. But they never. Okay, yeah. I probably would have slept with Harvey Weinstein to be famous back in the day. I mean, that
the Scientology is the Harvey Weinstein of Hollywood. I mean, it just is what it is.
Because apparently they do make you famous, and then they like do all your PR. They help you stay famous. They protect you. I'm like, you do Harvey that for me Weinstein, first.
Yeah. I mean, it's all very like. I think they're all going to jail. Anyways, speaking of which, you should watch Members Only.
Okay, is it good?
It's a complete train wreck. I mean, listen, it's a bunch of ghouls sitting around, pulling each other's wigs off and yelling and talking about belonging when none of them belong to anything. It's just crazy, but you kind of can't take your eyes off of it. And I live here. And by the way, I don't know. I don't think we were still talking, not that we were never talking, but I mean, we were just not communicating as much. I was filming a pilot for something called Snowbirds, and that was what was supposed to be picked up. And instead, Members Only Palm Beach got picked up by Netflix, and wait till you see the outcome. It's funny. It's funny. It's not, you're just going to be surprised that you watch it, but you won't stop watching it. I'll just say that.
How did you feel? That's so Hollywood, right? They're like, oh, we want you for the show. We want you for the show. And then they go and do a whole nother show. How did you feel about not being cast? Were you okay?
Well, no, I was cast, but Snowbirds didn't get picked up. It was optioned by Bravo, and then Bravo turned it down. And in the meantime, another production company was filming with this other group. And I don't know what their storyline was because none of them were in Palm Beach, but they made it once they got picked up by Netflix. So they basically took the idea and ran with it. I mean, it was their version of whatever our version was. Ours was Snowbird. So it was people that traveled to and from New York to Palm Beach. Theirs was people who lived down here who were, whether or not they were members of a club, members of this society. that they don't,
I gotcha.
they're not even in. So kind of very interesting. So wait, go back to you for a second though. So you wanted to be a talk show host and you
Wanted to be a talk show host.
and you worked where? Did you have a journalism degree?
No, I went to a liberal arts college, majored in history, minored in film studies. After I graduated, moved to DC, and I worked in morning radio. I just went around to every radio station and was like, how do I get hired here? Started in promotions, and then I would just apply for every time a producer was fired or let go. I would get producer gigs. And I think I've been fired from radio 5 times, like 5 different radio jobs. But that's how I got my start.
For what? Anything good?
No, there's a saying in old school radio that was, you haven't been in radio until you've been fired. And it was mostly because they were always changing formats. It was such a dying industry, even when I started in 2006, so I worked for one radio station, and then they blew out the whole morning show. So they fired me, and they helped me get a traffic reporter job. And then eventually in DC, I landed on a show called The Kane Show on Hot 99.5, which was with iHeartRadio. And that show took off and became number 1 in the DC market. And it was very morning Zoo Crew, a little Howard Stern, a little Z100, like Elliot in the morning, very like that. So that was very popular for the DC region and got syndicated on Sirius XM and some other places. From there, I got a gig for Fox 5 DC as an entertainment contributor. And I was in radio until 2015 because, I rode that out, but I was getting fired. And I think that was it. I think it was the 5th time I was fired from radio. And they offered me a morning show or a midday girl slot, or I could take my severance package. And at that time in 2015, remember Serial? The podcast was so huge.
Yeah.
So I would go out and talk to women, and they were like, I'm listening to this podcast, Serial. I listened to this, and I thought, okay, this is the kiss of death for radio. If now people can listen on demand to programming, why are you going to tune in to a morning show like the Zoo Crew that you used to at 6 a.m.? Yeah. So I took my severance money, and my podcast actually turns 10 years old this year. In 2016, I started my podcast.
Amazing. And has it always been called the Sarah Fraser Show?
No, it was called Hey Frage. They used to call me Frage on the radio. But when I started doing Hey Frage, the podcast, advertisers could not understand they couldn't say it. So it would be Hey Fraze, Hey Fraz. So I'm like, okay, this is too hard for people. I'll just call it the Sarah Fraser Show. And I did. I did a rebrand 5 years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago.
And when you first started, did you always cover reality stuff?
No, it was very Joe Rogan-like. I went to like a mosque and learned about, what was going on in the Muslim community. It was and there's still a part of me, and you and I kind of talk like some politics and some, I would say like politics, pop culture crossover. I'm very fascinated by that too, how people are thinking, what trends are happening in our country.
Yeah.
But, if you go that route, it's a lot of work. You have to kind of cross your T's, dot your I's, do some real journalism stuff. And I've always loved the pop culture and the reality trash. And that was what was getting me downloads. Like when I did that kind of stuff.
And are these shows, the things that you cover, like I saw the other day, you were talking about Gypsy Rose again, and you were talking to her old fiance or husband or whatever it is. Are these things that genuinely, like, if I knew you and I were your best friend or your husband and I was seeing you, are you sitting around on the couch nightly watching these shows?
Yeah. I'm obsessed. Like I still watch all the Bravo shows.
Watching something like that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would watch. Yes. And now I'm obsessed with TikTok. Like I love all the gypsy tea, because it's so fascinating to me how people become famous, what they become famous for. And then, you know this, you've been around famous people their whole lives. Then people are so desperate most of the time to keep the fame, even if it's like Gypsy Rose Blanchard fame, like she murdered her mom.
Yeah.
She so wants to be in the spotlight. She's launching a podcast. She's trying to do a rebrand about spirituality. It's so, I love how the human psyche works when it comes to fame.
Well, can we talk about the girl we both had on from Sister Wives, Mary? Is that her name?
Yes.
So I had her on the show, And I loved her. I thought she was great. She flew to Florida. We met in person. I thought she was great. But she had that whole thing, worthy up.
Yeah.
She's still doing that.
Yeah.
So when I interviewed her, and I'm not saying this to be judgmental, I genuinely am asking because you must know this. I asked her about Worthy Up. It was just starting. I could not understand the concept. She was like, you are worthy just because you were born. You are worthy. And you just have to worthy up. And I kind of was like, well, don't you, in my head, I'm like, but don't you have to find some worthiness? You can't just sit on a couch and eat pizza and become 1,000 pounds and be like, well, I'm worthy, so go fuck yourself. Like, you have to find what's worthy about you and project that. You need to be proactive in being worthy, right? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I didn't understand the concept. So has she gotten something out of this Worthy Up, movement?
That's a good question because
Have you been worthied up?
I don't know. I'm sort of over the self-help. Are you? Like Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
I like Mel, but like
I couldn't believe she was up for best. I couldn't believe she was up for a Grammy or whatever that was.
Don't even get me started. No, a Golden Globe.
Golden Globes. Why? By the way,
but
all
like
that shit
Joe
is
Rogan
bullshit.
and Theo Von, like none of those people were nominated.
Yeah, but like, tell me how these people who are life coaches or want to talk about life shit. First of all, who the fuck is, not to be rude, who is Mel Robbins? Is she a doctor? Did something happen to her early in her life that she knows all this stuff? She's talking about like self-help stuff or medical stuff. And okay, but like, who are you to ask that stuff? Also, the guy, he's kind of Indian with the curly, crazy hair now with the beautiful eyes.
Jay Shetty.
Who the fuck is he? I don't understand.
Excuse me. He was a former monk for a year.
Okay, that's interesting. But wasn't there some big scandal that happened recently that they just shoved under the rug?
Yeah, he's always
him being a fraud.
Yeah. He's always been marred with fraud, because I think to your point, I think he just basically went to a retreat in India where you could like pay to be a monk for a year. Right. So
okay.
Don't exactly quote me, but I think this was sort of the thing. And then apparently he did what a lot of people did in the early aughts where they would just go on Instagram and steal other people's quotes. So Jay would steal these quotes and present them as they were himself. Like, let go of the past and be present. And people would be
and
like,
everyone's like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I've never heard of something so, it's just, he's such a sage. I mean, come on. Same thing, no offense, Lewis Howes or Howie, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
He used to not be able to make enough money and lived on someone's couch. And now he's telling people how to live their lives.
Didn't he write the book 4 Hour Work Week though? That one, I'm like, at least that was, I thought, revolutionary at the time.
Don't even know what you're talking about, but still,
maybe he didn't write the book.
I just don't get it. And the same thing with, call her daddy, call me daddy, whatever. I get that good for her. She left Barstool. She made a name for herself, but I don't understand how half the people she has on her show, I've never heard of. They're like 18 and they're talking about their dramas within their world. And then she has like Jane Fonda coming on there talking about licking pussy or something. I don't get it. I don't.
Tim Ferriss wrote the 4 Hour Work Week, so it wasn't Lewis Howes. So anyway,
because Lewis Howes was living on someone's couch when that book was written, probably.
I completely get it. I don't know where Mary's Worthy Up stands. I know it's still going. I know the concept is very Mel Robbins, where you do a monthly membership. There's different tiers. You get access to Mary. And the idea is how can we as a community, I think, help you work through whatever adversity is going on, whether it's in your business.
I think you should do
family.
some deep diving in all your sister wives, deep diving into what that's really about. Because I think there's a little scandal there.
You do?
I do.
Wait, what do you think is scandalous?
You just money. She's not on the show anymore, so she's making money doing that.
No, she's still on the show, and they've just filmed season 21. I don't think any of them are going to ever leave. I think it's such a cash cow.
So I just had a woman on my show named Pamela Jones who escaped a cult in Mexico where it was a terrible cult, polygamist, and she was married to someone who he had three other wives. She has 9 children, 31 grandchildren. She escaped over the border with 2 tanks of gas worth of money and a car, now lives in Minnesota and makes over $1 million a year running a cleaning agency with all her kids. I mean, it's insane. But stories like that I like.
I wanted, yeah. Who else have you had recently? I feel like you've had some, I was going to your Instagram. I feel like you've had some really big people.
I've had some really good people, but once I have them on, I can't remember they are the next day because I've moved on to someone else. But I am so proud of the guests we got. Listen, just 2 days ago,
really good ones.
2 days ago, I interviewed. Do you remember the Joe Paterno scandal at Penn State?
Yeah.
With Jerry Sandusky molesting and having sex with 40 boys.
So weird you bring it up because my husband and I were just saying, is Jerry Sandusky still alive? And then we had to Google it and he's still alive in jail. Yeah.
Still alive. He has a group of people, including his wife, that still believe that he is innocent and they are on a mission to get him out on an appeal.
Lord.
I interviewed Jay Paterno, who's Joe Paterno's son, who, don't forget, he took the downfall. Everyone blamed him, this guy who was so beloved and revered as the coach of an institution of Penn State football. And his son actually worked there as an assistant quarterback coach or whatever. My ex-husband actually played for Joe Paterno and for Jay Paterno. And I got the inside scoop of what it was like for him to watch his father be accused and for them to remove his statue. And 2 weeks to the day that he was accused of it and fired, he died of lung cancer. The whole thing was crazy. And so it was really interesting to hear his story. Same thing. I had the daughter of Joey Buttafuoco and the other one, Mary Jo, to talk about what it was like to be a kid during that time.
Oh, must have been so stressful.
Yeah. So anyways, I have all sorts of random people.
You know who you had on that I wanted to ask you about is Susan Powder.
Oh, she was great.
Okay.
What do you think of her?
Well, I only knew, is her documentary out? Isn't there a documentary about her?
Yes, it's called Finding Susan Powder.
Where can I watch it? I know I can Google this, but do you know?
George is going to tell you right now. He's going to look it up.
I
want to say it was on Amazon Prime or Hulu or something like that.
Okay, I have to go watch immediately.
It's Amazon, and you have to. I think you have to pay like $3-4 for it.
Oh, I'll pay.
Yeah, and it might also be
worth it.
Or something. Yeah, it is worth it if you remember who she is. Here's the. I mean, it's not a spoiler because people know she drives for Uber Eats and has no money. And basically no one knows this besides George, but I've never paid someone to be on my show ever.
Wow, really?
I put $500 in an envelope and pretended like we paid so that I could, and handed it to her so that she had some extra money. I mean, she had like $1,500 to her name and lives in like a little apartment in Las Vegas. I mean, it's terrible what happened. I don't know if there are some mental issues there now because of what happened. It doesn't seem like at the time she had some mental issues, but when you've gone through such trauma like that and you have to go back to like the suffering of like being that famous and all of a sudden working at a restaurant and being, like just people treating you like shit, and then you don't have money and your teeth are falling out, whatever it is, like, I don't know how you survive that. And I think it's hard for her.
Give me the rundown though. Okay. Because she was like so stunning in the 90s. Like she had this like shaved head. She just had like this great look. She was a fitness guru in the 90s. Was she actually, and she was like remember when, oh my God, like infomercials and all those things were huge and really worked. Okay. This is what I don't understand about her story. So did she build a $200 million empire, or was she actually worth $200 million and lost all that? Because that's always amazing to me. I don't know how people lose. I mean, I like to spend money, but I'm also really cheap. So I just don't know how people.
Okay, so I'll tell you how it happened. She basically was a woman who was really heavy and she lost all the weight, and she started going to workout classes, and then she started to work at workout classes, and then she got her own studio. And because of her energy, I mean, there is something about her. She walks in a room and you're just like, who the fuck is this? She's amazing. She stood out and people started noticing, and her classes were full and more and more and more. Finally, it goes to the point where she signs with someone who is like, I'm going to make you famous because you have a brand. And they got her, this TV deal and this deal and this deal. And she was just like, okay, whatever it is, I'm so excited to be offered this. They asked for 50%. So she gave them 50%. Then the next person came in and they said, well, we want a book deal, but it's 50% now of your 50%. So she's only getting 25%. And so she was getting very little money. So the team and the brand and the everything was worth over $200 million. I'm getting the figures wrong, but something this. and none of it went to her. And she started realizing this, fired everybody and said, I'm the brand. Okay. So without me, you're going to have nothing. And didn't realize that it was like syndicated. So it would keep playing and they would still get their money for it and their royalties or whatever. And she thought someone else would pick her up. And she was so well known, it kind of didn't happen. So she moved and like had to get a job as a waitress and kept thinking that like a book deal would happen or something. But she had given away so much of her money to other people to make things happen that she just really wasn't getting any. And then she never got jobs. And then she talks a lot about as you get older, it's harder to get work. Like, you know, she's now in her 60s and like what, she's going to be a fitness guru. By the way, if she said she signed with a manager, if that manager is good, they will get her immediately. I mean, already. And I almost think it's too late if they haven't done it because the story already came out. But on speaking tours, because she's fantastic, you can get her 15,000, 25,000 a speaking tour, right? And then, or speaking engagement. She could do a book. She could do a fitness class. She could do an online fitness class for older women of just getting moving. Her whole thing is just like move, like be in the kitchen with me, cook, walk around the house, all that shit. You know, somebody pays her $15 to be in her class once a day. She can get 500 people every day, like from Timbuktu to watch her for an hour and just lift their legs in the living room.
She can make so much money. She can make, I mean, that's Mel Robbins' whole story. We were talking about Mel Robbins. The reason Mel Robbins went viral a decade ago is she and her husband had a business and then they lost the business and they'd invested their life savings, which was $700,000, and they lost every penny. And she basically went online and just said, I'm broke. Like we did this business and people were like, let us help you like that. And then she just rebuilt her life on social media, talking people through. I mean, Susan at any age could do. See, that's the thing. Like, it's such a weird time in TV and entertainment. It's sort of dying like radio did, but there's so much opportunity now for people of all ages, all niches. If you can do it that's the problem though, is so many people don't know how to do it themselves. This is why like it's genius what you're doing, what I'm doing. Don't give that up. Because if you can create your own brand and your own show with just, you know, you have an amazing
and your own credibility. You know, you could be the expert of what you want to be the expert is. If you're good at making, you know, clay pigeons, okay, be the expert of that and put it online somehow. I mean, you're right. It's taking ownership of what you do. But now you started a how to start a podcast.
Yeah. Podcast course and consulting, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. And consulting. And how is that going?
It's good. It's good. I don't have enough time right now because of all the life things that are happening. And I'm not sure. And then I worry about that, like for 2026, like what is my, you know, marketing strategy here? But it's great. Like, I mean, I probably have 2 consulting clients a month, which I'm fine with. We did a big Black Friday sale, which was great. That sold several courses. I've sold a lot of the $9, which is how to start a podcast.
Right.
The 6-figure master plan, which is more like how you scale up and really make a living and you make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year podcasting. That one's been a little bit slower to sell. And it's a big investment for people, you know, and it's like $900 is a lot to put up if you aren't really sure if this is a hobby.
Are those courses already taped and they just watch it on their own? Yes. Or that means it's an individual course with you?
No, the 900 is like it's everything there. You download it. This is your roadmap to how you can make $150K a year podcasting. And then if you want to consult with me one-on-one, I definitely do that.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So what is the goal for 2026? You're about to have a baby. Are you going to take a little time off of podcasting with David Yontef? And
I really want to.
You do it daily, right?
Daily. I want to ramp up in 2026.
You do? Okay, good for you.
Oh, I want to go on the street. I want to be more on the street. You know, I don't even know the YouTuber. Who was the guy that went to all the centers in Minneapolis, all the childcare and exposed? I don't even know if it's real fraud or not, but
it is. And that guy's super interesting. And it's more than him. I mean, you've got comedians on the street, you got the random people asking someone what they wear. And all of a sudden their account is, 1 million followers.
I want to do so much on the street. And, Garrick Merrifield, this guy from Seeking Sister Wife, he was just arrested for threatening to call ICE on his sister wife. And I'm like, oh my gosh, after my baby's born.
Why is she Mexican?
No, she's Brazilian.
Oh.
They had a big fight. He didn't physically hit her, but he threatened to, he cut the Wi-Fi, told her that he was going to call ICE on her ass. And then she called 911. He was arrested in the state of California.
Was this on the show or you just know them and they told you this?
No, TMZ, I think, picked it up.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, after my baby's born, I'm getting a traveling nanny. I'm going to Colorado. And I mean, I want to be in that courtroom. Like, what is Garrick Merrifield up to? I want to do everything that guy from the Minneapolis childcare, whatever. I want to do that, but much more, kind of random like reality people.
Yeah. But it'd be funnier if you had your baby strapped to your back and you did like the People's Court. You remember the guy that used to stand outside at the end and be like, how do you feel about this outcome?
Yes, exactly. The 1,000-pound sisters, Tammy Slayton, sold her house last year. I should have flown to Kentucky, gone on a house tour, told them that I was interested in buying it. I think it sold for like $64,000.
That would have been hysterical.
I tried to get I want to do things. Mickey Rourke is broke here in LA. I wanted to go to Mickey Rourke's house and go, look, I'll give you $5,000 if you co-host the podcast with me for a week. I mean, can you imagine that? Mickey Rourke.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you getting him on?
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Good. You should. Yeah. Okay, and he's going to do it for really free?
I think he's working on his sexuality a little bit. I think he's working on, he really loves animals. I know that about him. He's like trying to save all these animals. I don't know if you know.
Wait, when you say sexuality, what's the deal? Now he thinks he's bi or fluid, or is he trans? What's going on?
Well, I mean, do you think he's straight? He's not. The whole point.
Okay.
I just from watching
answer
him,
that for everybody. It's a no. Okay.
Yeah. So, no, but and not that there's anything wrong with it. And listen, it's not like I've ever slept with him, and so I know that or anything. It's just from the conversations I've had with people who know him very well. He's struggled for a while, but me as someone who's followed him for a while on his own Instagram, he has a guy, I forget the guy's name, who's always on his Instagram with him. The way Mickey looks right now is not so fantastic. But yes, I have been in touch about having him on, and I'm shocked that you're shocked that I've never paid anyone to be on my show. Do you have to pay people to be on your show?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. All the time. I actually I won't even name the person, but I just turned down somebody who was like insanely famous.
Why can't you tell?
I'll tell you. I think it's bad business practice to out the people, because I don't blame people. I don't blame people for asking for a talent fee, because a lot of times, like, my episodes go viral and it's like I'm making money. So it's kind of like, I don't blame people for asking. I also have the right to say I'm not going to pay that. But I had a very famous star from the 90s who was a sex worker who wanted to come on the show and wanted $5,000. And I said no. And then they said, okay, $2,000. And I said, okay, I'll pay you $2,000. But then they came back. Their manager came back.
Place.
I'm not going to say. But then their manager came back and said, well, you cannot talk about with this person, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm sorry. I don't pay a talent fee and then do an edit. There's no way. I'm not giving you. No, if I'm paying you, you're coming on for 60 minutes and you're going to anything you can decline to answer. Right. But I'm not going to not ask you a question.
In all the time that we've been doing this show, which is different than you've had it 10 years. I've had mine almost 3. 3 people have asked for money. Ryan Lochte. Remember him, the swimmer?
Yes, girl. I think you should have paid him.
Marla Maples.
Okay, obsessed. I also would have paid her something.
So you would have?
Yes. So to talk to her about Trump? 100%. And Epstein files?
She probably wouldn't have spoken about him, don't you think? But anyway, okay. Third is Conrad Murray, the guy who killed Michael Jackson.
Would have paid in a heartbeat.
$50,000.
Oh, no, he can kiss it. He can kiss it. No, he can kiss it.
Ryan Lochte, I think, wanted $3,500 or $5,000, and Marla Maples wanted $3,500. Yeah, it's stupid. No one else has even brought it up to me. Oh, actually, that's not true. We did have, George and I had an incident where recently someone asked us to pay their ticket, their flight, although they already happened to be coming to the area. So that I thought was a little much. But anyways, we did pay for a flight for someone who was on a Netflix docuseries who it was a really good get. But anyway, whatever.
I'm happy to pay, but you're not getting an edit. because you know this. I mean, the hard part when you work with networks is you do this fantastic interview with a Bravo celebrity or something, and then they come back and they say, can you edit out the part where they call so-and-so a slut and a whore? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm at the point in my career in my show, I get more downloads talking with you or doing a rant than I do with a lot of these guests. So it's like, no, I'm not editing anymore. And if I'm paying you, again, you can decline. I mean, these people are media. Marla Maples is media trained. If she doesn't want to talk about the Epstein files, then, or what she knows or doesn't know, she's welcome to go, I'm not answering that. I don't know. Fine. But I'm not going to not ask that and pay you $3,500. There's no way.
Of course. All right. Well, maybe I should start paying. Maybe I should start offering to pay people to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Although I have been lucky that I haven't had to yet.
Do people ask you for a lot of edits?
No. And the difference is that I'm not getting people from like network. Like, I don't really care that much about the reality TV people, right? Because I'm talking about their real lives. So I'm not talking about, I'm getting like a Greg Louganis, or I'm getting, whoever, Sean Spicer, like the most random people, Lorena Bobbitt. So they're talking about their life, and it's not someone who thinks that they're a celebrity on a show, so they should be getting a fee for it.
And your mission of Misunderstood is giving people a platform to explain, so that's a very different type of thing versus I'm like, give me Tammy Slayton, and I want to know all the nitty gritty, like.
See, I don't even know who Tammy Slayton is.
1,000-pound sister.
Oh, right. One of them. There's like,
but now she doesn't weigh. No, 1,000-pound sisters were two sisters that collectively weighed 1,000 pounds, but now they only weigh like 500 together.
Oh,
they've lost a lot of weight. Yeah. But no, that's great. God, it must be nice to not get asked for edits. That's half my time. And I'm torn between playing ball and just being like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. So I'm so excited for you in 2026. Anything we should know going forward that's a little scoop on something you're planning on doing or hoping to do or whatever, besides having a child?
Besides having a baby. I have some guests. I don't know when you're going to air this, but Suki, who's the host of the Sister Wives One-on-Ones, which is the equivalent of their reunion, she's back. So a lot of people will be interested in that because she gives away a lot of interesting stuff. She talks about that. Kim Kardashian's hairdresser, you should get him. He was amazing. He just wrote a book. Chris Appleton.
Yeah.
Is
he on a press tour right now?
He's on a press tour. That's a good one for your producer, George, to reach out to. And
I saw him on Bio Files, Nick Viall show. So he did yours.
He did my show. He talked a lot about Kim, what he learns from the card. I mean, he's very good. He doesn't tell you like the specifics about what they have advised him over the years, but it's really great what he's done.
Talk about his life. I mean, I just feel like at this point now he's been probably on everybody's podcast. What do I need him for on mine? You know what I mean? Like when they do the whole tour.
That's true. It's a lot
of. Did you ask him about how he got into makeup?
Well, he's into hair. I mean, he does some makeup, but his big thing is hair. Yeah. I mean, and Chris, his hardest thing to overcome, and I still think there's a little shame there, is, he's gay and he was married and he had 2 kids with a woman.
With a woman?
And he lived a straight life for like a decade. And that really
As a hairdresser, you're telling me no one knew he was gay? Okay.
But do we know any straight men that are, what about,
I don't know any straight men. Who?
Angie K from Salt Lake City. Her husband's a hairdresser as well.
See, again, you talk about all these people. I have no idea who they are. I don't really watch Salt Lake. Wait, but he married a man recently and was married for like a week. Did he talk about
Gage?
that?
Yes. He does not really want to talk about Gage. So he's very vague with his answer. He is not dating. He says that he needs to work on dating himself after that divorce. And so he's going out to places it's okay. There you go. But you know what? You ask. Okay. You ask. But
is it the same Gage that was engaged to Jeff Lewis?
No, different Gage.
Okay. But didn't that Gage marry somebody else famous?
Did he?
Yes, there was some story there where he went off and dated like either Jeff's ex or Shane's ex, or there was some drama with Gage. I thought maybe I just made that up. But
ex Gage Mary. Oh, I don't know this.
Am I right?
Okay, wait. Ex-Gage. Jeff Lewis reveals he and ex-Gage Edward briefly dated after split from Scott Anderson. Okay, wait, no, let's see.
There is something in there. We'll
Okay.
look that up. But all right. Well, if I think of any good reality stars that we've had, I mean, listen, you should get into members only. And
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I know all these girls. I could get them on very easily.
Okay,
For sure.
100%. I'm
one of them was on mine, Taja. You might do very well having Gail on your show or Sue Bell. You don't know these names until you see the show, but
Okay.
I think they would do very well with you, and you'd have some fun with them.
Oh my God, 100%.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. I have missed you. I love our banter. I'm so excited that you're Mrs. Donovan. Dan looks like a very nice man. He does. He looks like he loves you a lot. He's willing to be on your social media. You guys, I hope you do some podcast episodes with him. He sounds fascinating and sweet, and he doesn't seem like a fame whore. He seems like a really good match for you.
He's a great guy. He really is. And we will do a podcast soon together for sure. He's been asking why he's not allowed on the podcast.
And why hasn't he been on? He seems like so.
Because he was a big groomzilla is why. And so, yeah, but he wants to come on to talk about security and what's misunderstood about how to secure an area and blah, blah, blah. He wants to be all professional about it. And I really want to talk to him about why he's such a groomzilla.
Yeah, I want to hear about your relationship. I don't want to hear about that. Sorry, Dan. And, and I want to hear where are we at? What's the threat level of an ISIS attack on us at like a parade these days? I do want to hear about that. Because apparently they're plotting and planning.
His answer would be it's not ISIS. It's like within people It's like people that just get nuts and angry and have lost their job and have nothing else to lose. And they're angry about politics right now. And they will just lose it. And the hardest thing is protecting an area and people when you're thinking the threat is like ISIS or the Taliban. It's not. It's your next door neighbor. And they just go nuts.
They're hard to track.
Yeah, they're hard. And you just do not know that is the threat. And it's hard to prevent and protect when you're not prepared for what that threat is. And that is an everyday threat that people have to be aware of. So that's the message he's trying to, and with companies, that's what he's trying to get them to be aware of. You can't just have like the executive protection group just following you around, let's say, because like what happened with Charlie Kirk, it was on the perimeter. Somebody outside shot within. So who gave a shit that he had 5 people around him protecting him? Didn't do anything.
Actually, I want Dan's take on Charlie Kirk, like on that, because I had read that Charlie Kirk had been warned, like he would be assassinated and was told like he needed to be behind bulletproof, plexiglass. He didn't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. Cause his whole thing was he wanted to interact with the people and he wanted to shake their hand. And by the way, all of that still would have been fine had they secured the perimeter and had people all around the perimeter just have to walk through a system where you can see if they have a weapon on them. So there are plenty of ways to have protected what happened. It should not have happened at all, even though it was 200 feet away. It was easy to prevent. So if you ever need someone to come on your show and talk about security in certain circumstances like that, he started his own podcast. It's called The Security Equation with Dan Donovan. Okay. And so he's available. And
you know what? Yes. And I find that fascinating. Like, because actually Dan, I think is completely right, where I think it's now domestic terrorism more than it is. Because it's so, it must be. And yeah, Dan actually, okay, now we should do it. Next time, bring Dan on, because I do have some questions. Because I think it's so much easier to track ISIS, like AI. They do so many things online. It's unavoidable. Even like a burner phone, you know? So like now you can track so much of what they do, but it's that one rogue kid that, he did a couple messages on Facebook, but it wasn't like, how would you know he would go? Yeah, totally.
Right. And it always seems to be that, right? Within our schools or within, even the guy who tried to assassinate President Trump, he was just a kid, it's not like it was, someone from the Middle East.
Oh, so. I want, and does Dan consult with school districts? Are school districts reaching out to him? And because I'm petitioning.
He's trying to talk to, have something passed within the government, the statewide or local, that requires, or they pay for a handler and a canine at your school that's weapons detection oriented, and trained that way, so that they are there to
suss out what's going on, not just attack dogs where they could just like attack someone, but someone that when you walk
a working
through,
dog, yeah.
Yeah, like a working animal, because they think, he believes, as a lot of people do, is that the state should cover that funding, not the school, because it is expensive, you know. So
100%. But you know what?
I mean,
I live in California. You pay almost 30% tax here. Get a fucking dog on these campuses. And look, maybe, you know, I'm sure Dan has all these ways that, you know, maybe it's not every day the dog is that, you know, they're moving around, you know, but people don't know the schedule. They don't know. But I think it's such a deterrent if they knew that, you know, these schools were patrolled, or I want to advocate LAUSD schools here in Los Angeles, like get undercover former FBI agents and stuff, like put them on campuses, do a test trial, you know, like.
Yeah, it's interesting.
People
you
know
say that though, you know, Donald Trump's grandson goes to my school. And we had a code red last year because the Secret Service whipped out his gun and someone saw it and did a code red. We had 4 helicopters, 40 squad cars, parents freaking out. And today, as a matter of fact, it's funny that we're talking about this. The school is closed. We got an email in the middle of the night. There's been a threat at the school or against the school. So they closed the entire school down. So, you know, just because you have these undercover people there, it actually doesn't really help at all. So,
okay, but
Dan has a lot to say on the subject about that.
All right, but most people are not going to school with Donald Trump's grandson. I mean, that's a whole nother level. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Even when you have that, it backfires, because it's backfired now twice. I think this was a false alarm as well. But it's like overprotection with these people that are undercover, that someone thinks is like a perp walking around with a gun, and they see someone with a gun and they're like, oh, there's a terrorist here, you know?
All right. Well, we need Dan, because do those incidents, what, give me the stats, Dan. Do those incidents really escalate to a shooting, or is it very, very rare? Because we always overreact in this country. It's like, put somebody undercover, and the chances that they're going to shoot a student is probably 0.0001. Is it, could it happen? Is it going to happen? Probably.
Right.
You know, because how many millions of kids go to school? But
they also, if they were undercover, they would be there quicker, and the response time would be quicker. Yeah. So let's say somebody went in and started shooting, the person is already in place to then turn around and know how to find him, right? And so to me, that seems like, you know, anyways, whole nother conversation, which we're happy to have. But Sarah, I love you. I'm sure that the next time I speak to you will be after your childbirth. So I wish you an easy and peaceful childbirth, and the best of luck to you. I love you. And we will speak soon.
So happy for you. Congratulations. And we will see you soon. Mwah. Bye, gorgeous. Bye. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to Misunderstood. I'm your host, Rachel Uchitel. Please be sure to subscribe to the show and give us a 5-star rating and review. You can support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/misunderstood with Rachel Uchitel. Do you have ideas for the show or want to reach out? Email us at info misunderstoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's spelled MISS understood. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.